A few school kids thought it would be cool to lure an old Marine veteran to a tiny house a few miles away. He and his wife take the bait and follow the children to the house, but when they arrive, they realize they've been set up and that this event will change both of their lives forever. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Eddie Browning and his wife Cindy have been living in a camper van for a while now. Ever since he returned from serving in the United States Marine Corps, Eddie's had a tough run of luck and not much support. It appeared that neither country nor family was able to help when he and Cindy made the move to the camper, and it had problems of its own. The camper van that served as their permanent dwelling was small, old, and cramped, but all that is something a person can learn to live with. What made matters worse was that the camper sustained damage from a fire that left some serious repercussions for the Browning couple to deal with, and life was only going to get harder. The dilapidated van kept out the rain, which made it worth staying in, but the fire had damaged the heating inside along with other amenities. Neither Cindy nor Eddie had the kind of money needed in order to fix a camper van, so they went without. They were often hungry and in winter always freezing cold, and winter would be upon them very, very soon. What Eddie didn't know was that there were some local kids that were making little plans to change Eddie's life in a huge way. They were only a small group of elementary school children at Elm Street Elementary School in Rome, Georgia, but they had big dreams and amazing teachers that encouraged them to hone their talents and build their skills on a project that would be the talk of the town and further. The fourth graders, now fifth graders, at Elm came up with a plan to help enrich their community. Their plan was quite simple. They wanted to build a tiny dwelling house that homeless people would be able to use to get out of the rain and sleep comfortably away from the natural elements. The tiny sleeping box would be set up in town for all to use as it was needed, but a problem quickly arose which stopped the dream in its tracks. The town of Rome quickly laid down the law and told the teachers that due to local ordinances, the children could in fact not place the small structure where they wanted to. In fact, they couldn't place it in a public place at all. With their dreams crushed, they almost gave up on the project that had taken up better part of a year to complete. The kids were disappointed until something amazing happened. The idea for the shelter originated from a class project on designing tiny homes with the use of the school's 3D printers, and teachers at the school consoled them with words of encouragement. When they completed it, we found out that due to local ordinances, we couldn't place it in the place we hoped, Assistant Principal Laura Wally said. However, we did showcase it here at the school. We told them that they'd already done something amazing. We said, "Look at what you did. You've raised social awareness about this." The elementary school children were the true creators and masterminds behind the whole idea, and when they approached their teachers, they got a surprised and excited response. All they had to do was ask Principal Joanne Moss and Assistant Principal Laura Wally. "We thought it was a great idea," Wally said, "but our first question was, who knows how to build a house?" Everyone laughed and said, "We'll Google it." And they did just that. Throughout the course of the year 2017, the children had built a small abode and had become really excited about unveiling it. They'd told their parents about it, and soon, between word of mouth and some posts on sharing and social media, the hut was getting some heat. An Atlanta news station saw it and did a small story, Wally said. Then, right before Christmas break, another came to visit us, and it hit social media even more, and we got an email from John Carnahan of the United Tiny House Association. What started out as a tiny homeless shelter to keep dry suddenly became the launch pad for a tiny house, and you guessed it, the kids were going to surprise Eddie and Cindy with a tiny home of their own. Just one problem. The tiny one room was just that, and it had no water or electricity. There would need to be an intervention if the plan was to work. Carnahan with the United Tiny House Association explained that they held a tiny festival in Eatonton and they wanted to come and get the kids' tiny house. He continued with a new idea. The group wanted to make some upgrades to the design, like adding plumbing and actually adding the tiny house to a house that they were donating to a homeless veteran. Everything seemed to be going well. Carnahan went to collect the house in early January and took the time to tell the little builders exactly what would happen now. Their structure would stay completely intact, but some things would also be added. He also invited the students to come to the festival in order to dedicate the home to its new owner, who had no idea that any of this was happening yet. Eddie and his wife were invited to the Georgia Tiny Home Festival in the spring of 2017. It was at a local farm and not too far away for them to travel, so that's what they did. Just to go and have a look at the awesome new style of tiny homes that people were so enamored with. Not just around the state, but around the whole world, the trend is really becoming the household of choice. They had no idea what was going to happen. Set up in a neat row on the beautiful Ooh La La lavender farm in Georgia stood a multitude of tiny homes, each being showcased by a different architect. And the couple had no clue until, surprisingly, the house was dedicated to Eddie Browning. "I didn't have the words to tell you what we feel," Browning said through tears. His wife, Cindy, said, "I couldn't believe it. It's a dream." The kids' house was attached to the side of a slightly bigger house and will be used as a second bedroom for the couple. The house also has all the amenities that everybody needs to live comfortably: electricity, plumbing, and most importantly, heating. The house is smartly fitted with a bed, shower, and appliances for the couple too. A fridge, washer, dryer, and built-in oven are also features of the home. So what next? The couple has property in Norwood, and they plan to relocate the tiny home there and get on track with their lives. "This will be warm. We've been freezing to death," Browning said. After a lifetime of service to the United States, Eddie finally has more than a broken-down, fire-damaged camper van to call home. But the goodwill doesn't end with Eddie. The amazing kids at Elm Street Elementary, after giving away a house to Eddie and Cindy, are filled with the need to build again. In fact, they've already begun new plans for their second house. Using Google again, they have instructions on how to build a foundation, frame a house, and construct a roof. "We've got to see the kids' house, which has been attached to a building and will serve as the second bedroom on the home," Wally explained. "It was a very moving experience because the kids got to meet the veteran who will live in the home with his wife. They helped make this couple's home. Their vision came to life." Altogether, 12 students, 4th and 5th graders, attended the festival, and after the presentation to the new owners, they proceeded to inspect all the tiny houses for ideas to use in their next project. They're starting plans now, and the local Home Depot has donated the wood for the foundation, Wally said. "Local architect Bob Jones has visited us and talked about how to make blueprints. They're so capable," she said. "Never underestimate the power of an idea. By exploring their ideas, they've changed someone's life forever." And one last thing to make your heart fill with joy: on the wings of their success, the children have started their own business, Elm Kids Construction. Their goal is to build a new tiny house by every spring and donate it to a homeless veteran. And United Tiny House Association has agreed to make modifications too. This has not only reinforced the skills they learn in school, but it's helped us find talent in the children we might not have seen otherwise, Wally said. "It pulls out their strengths and opens their eyes to the future. It also helps them learn to give back. We want them to be involved and to be able to do, not just have us telling them."